What the hell happened here? Whew. Wow. Hey everybody, how's it going? So you think you're gonna take 2 weeks off to go make some money, and the next thing you know, it's been a month. Not without good reason, of course. I did manage to do a bit of traveling while I was out there. I actually worked a third show, which was not part of the plan, but means more money, right? So I thought I'd take advantage of that. That being said, that was pretty bad that I left you guys hanging for an entire month. So straight off the bat, I just want to say that I'm not going to let that happen again. I have set up a Twitter account and I do have an Instagram account. If you guys ever want to keep in touch with me, you guys can get a hold of me through Twitter and Instagram. I mean, I don't use Facebook. What else? I have a DeviantArt page, but that's just for my stenciling and stuff like that. I'll leave a link down below. All of them are just tobromancer. If you want to find me on any of those platforms, it's just tobromancer. I didn't really know how to handle, not making videos for that long, so I tried to film some stuff just to show you what I was up to and just where I was going, the things I saw, just like a vlogging kind of stuff. But I'm really not a vlogger at all. And I didn't have my fancy camera that I use here, so I managed to get some video off my phone camera, which isn't the best quality. I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop with what's going on, so I kind of just put together a little collage of my trip and stuff like that. I'll definitely walk you through where I was at for the last 2 weeks when I should have been back here, but if anybody knows about Star Wars Celebration, that happened, and they were really short on people, so I jumped in I didn't jump in. He asked me to come aboard, so I came aboard, and I went back to Chicago after being in Anaheim, California. So it is a little hot in here. I'm going to take this off now that I'm settled in. So where to begin? Gosh, it was a month ago. It's hard to remember stuff from that long ago, but I'll do my best. Last time I spoke to you, I was letting you guys know that I had received a call and that the following day I would be taken off in an airplane to go to Chicago and to do a show out there. The show was called C2E2, and that's in Chicago. I'm really bad at this, guys. I'm going to be a little rusty with you guys. I hope you don't mind. So yeah, first things first, after the video, I immediately started packing my stuff, and I had to head out to the airport. My flight out there was at 5 a.m., so naturally, listening to all the wisdom of the people around me, I was there 2 hours in advance. Literally just standing around, looking at things, trying not to order airplane food, which is probably the most expensive place to get food in the world. Airports really jack up the price on all that stuff, and well, I managed to stave off, from eating anything. After all, it was, 5 in the morning. And I didn't actually get to sleep that night. I spent all night packing, getting a few more rounds of Titanfall 2 in there before I had to leave. And once I was off, I was off. So from Montreal to Chicago is actually only 2 one-hour flights with about an hour and a half delay in between, which is a bit of a surprise for me. I thought it was going to be way longer than that. But from Montreal, they fly you out to Toronto. From Toronto, you just kind of hang out until they're ready to put you on another plane, which takes you to Chicago. And I thought, oh, well, it's going to be a long flight, so I'll be able to catch some R&R along the way. It's a lot harder than it seems, especially when every single airplane you get on, they need you to pay attention to the safety demonstration with the seatbelt and whatnot. So I didn't really get a chance to sleep at all. They were literally hour-long flights. I maybe closed my eyes for about 15 minutes at the most. And when I finally got to Chicago, I was exhausted. I was already tired and I already wanted to go to the hotel, but the guy I was working for had other plans, and that was to go straight to the convention hall and start building the tower. So what I did when I was out there is this guy, he has a really interesting story in himself, but maybe we'll get into that a little later. This guy goes from convention to convention. There's basically a convention every week, and he just travels all throughout the States, sometimes Canada, and he just puts up t-shirt booths and something called a mystery box booth. Yeah, if you really want to give like a younger kid like a nice surprise box like that, that's something that would be cool for someone like that, especially if they really like, you know, like again the Avengers or what else. They had 1,000 things. DC. They were stacked with all these things. You know, it was out of this world. But where I was doing T-shirts and stuff like that. And what they do is they have you basically just like 1,000 like black grates, and you just put them all together, zip tied together, and you put all these poles to keep it secure and stuff like that. And you just build upwards this huge structure, and then you start lining it up with T-shirts, and that's exactly what I did. T-shirts, hoodies, they had beanie hats, caps. It takes a long time to set up. It took 2 days to set up all the booths because there's more than just one booth. You know, this guy's pretty well known in the convention industry, and he's kind of the go-to T-shirt guy, which really puts me in a good position. You know, I'm working for the top brass. That was really cool to actually be a part of that. It took so long, and I tried to get as much footage of what goes into making a convention happen. You know, the general public get there, and by the time you get there, everything looks beautiful, that everything's all set up and stuff. But you know, like someone has to set it up. And I remember when I first walked in there, it's literally just all these boxes saran wrapped, you know, and they're just waiting for the people to come and start tearing them apart and opening them up and start setting up. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm pretty tired right now. I did 2 flights. I didn't sleep for over 24 hours now. We're about to pack it up. I just wanted to show you what a convention looks like when they're setting up. Very different from what you're used to seeing. Very different. There's still a lot of things, a lot of booths that aren't set up yet, but you can tell how quiet it is compared to the... I'm trying to show you guys something cool, but there's nothing here yet. There's a big Gundam. I'll try to get a shot of that later. But for now, that's all I got. So I didn't get to see it, you know, through the glorious eyes of the consumer. I got to build it up, which is a really cool experience in itself. You know, it teaches you a lot about how these things are made and just like the effort that people go into making these things beautiful. So the first night before the convention opened up, a group of us went out to this pretty sweet bar. It was an arcade bar of all things, where all the games were free, and the drinks were pretty pricey though. I think that's how they get you. It's like you pay extra for the drinks, and then you get to play all the free games you wanted. They had Time Crisis 2, they had like an unlimited supply of pinball machines, and they had Battletoads, they had Soul Calibur 1. They actually had Soul Calibur 1, and I actually managed to beat Taki's story, like the whole arcade story, within the time that I spent at the bar, which is pretty cool. I'd never played that game before, so now I can say I've played all the Soul Calibur games. So day one of the convention is probably the coolest one. That's when you get to see everybody else's booth, and they're all set up and stuff like that. It's a really interesting to see everybody else working on their own booth. And then when you get in, like, you know, you set everything up, you make sure that everything's where it should be, everything's placed the way, you know, to best optimize, you know, how good it looks for the public and stuff like that. And then you get your first wave of people. Now, you should have seen the lines. I couldn't believe how many people were just like waiting to get in there. These things are huge. You know, for someone like me, I used to go to conventions all the time as a cosplayer and stuff like that. But I was a lazy bum. I would show up until like well into the afternoon, so I never got stuck in any lines or anything like that. If you're a VIP, you get to go in a little, like an hour, half hour earlier before everybody else. So you get to see the first wave of people, and that's very interesting. And then all of a sudden, you're flooded by all these cosplayers and stuff like that, and you know, everybody's taking pictures of everything, and you get some of the coolest costumes. You know, I saw like this really cute girl do Captain Marvel. I saw Darth Vader, but it was the crab guy from Futurama, Zoidberg. I got to see Zoidberg Vader. Just countless things, you know. I don't even remember them all. I'm gonna let you just watch this thing for a bit, but it was just non-stop awesome. And you know, like, the guy I work for, he's very lenient about it. He's like, as long as you're doing your job, like, I don't mind if you, like, you know, step out of the booth for a second, take a picture of someone. That's cool. So that was very cool. I got to take plenty of pictures. I got to take all these cool things. You know, they give you like a half-hour break in between. So I got to walk around the convention and see other people's booths and just look at all the awesome stuff they had to offer. There's so many neat things out there that these kind of conventions have to offer. And I really enjoyed, you know, C2E2. But as these things go, by the last day, Sunday, we finished up around 5 o'clock. You just have to take it down, which means you're working until about midnight that night. And they pull in an RV and you just tear it all down, you pack it up. I wandered off for a little bit, like, you know, when I went to use the washroom or something like that. And I just took a look at other people's teardowns and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff they just leave behind, you know, like, say, like the Marvel booth or something like that. So the Marvel booth got Chicago deep dish pizza, and they literally left half a box of pizza. So I go ahead and I help myself to a piece of their pizza, it was cold, but it was delicious. It was really nice. You know, I've never had Chicago deep dish, and I guess now that I have, courtesy of Marvel, thanks guys. And that was my time in Chicago C2E2. By the time I was done at C2E2, like, we packed everything up and I got in the RV, which I have never done, which was in itself very cool. Like, everybody just knows what to do, and they have, like, I don't know, it's like 9 beds in the back. You're just like bunk bed, three beds high, 3 beds across, and yeah, you just sleep in there until they take you home to their home base in Michigan. I want to say Michigan. I'm pretty sure it's Michigan. Once we got into Michigan, I believe I spent the rest of the day sleeping on the couch there. The owner has he has like a big warehouse there, and attached to it is this house where all the crew members sleep and live and stuff like that. You know, when they're not working. When they're in town, I should say, because they're always working. You guys are always working. It's right next to the warehouse. So if you want to work at the warehouse, you just walk, you know, literally 10 feet away from your house, and you're right there. So I slept the rest of the day once we'd gotten there, and then the next day I went to work at the warehouse, which was enormous, but I didn't want to take too much footage of it in case I'm not allowed, you know. I think I spent like 2 days out there, and after that it was on to the airport to head on over to Anaheim, California. The flight was a bit longer this time. I actually got a chance to nod off and sleep. It's about a 5-hour flight from Michigan. But the most exciting part was when I landed there and I was in summer heaven. You guys, from all the bad things and all the good things I hear about California and all that, this place is gorgeous. Whether it's like the slumps or not, you know, this place is beautiful. Sure, there's a lot of gunk on the floor and stuff like that, and there's like trash everywhere. But just the overall, you can smell like the ocean. You can smell that salt water. That place is absolutely top-notch awesomeness. It was beautiful. I had brought my Canadian winter jacket with me, my Foxhound jacket. I did not need it. I was sweating through that thing. I had to take it off. This place was amazing, you guys. I was enjoying myself so much. Just that kind of boost of heat. You know, because you know, I live in Canada, and in the last video you saw of me, there was snow outside. You know, to be at an extremely different change like that, it heightened my spirits. I was in an absolutely different mood the entire time I was out there. That place was brilliant. On to the convention. This one was a lot bigger from what I could tell. There was a lot more, I mean, like, again, I just stayed in the dealer's room and all that. There isn't much time to go around. But, you know, like, they had Bumblebee statue lined up outside. They were heavily promoting Shazam movie, which I still haven't seen. Now that I'm back in town, I should probably go see that, you know, while it's still in theaters. I hear it's really good. But they had Shazam posters everywhere. Like, the exterior of the convention was lined with Shazam posters. It was nuts. And again, same thing. Once you go in, everything is empty. Everything we had was at a docking bay. We had to pull it in and just get started building everything just like last time. This time I had a better idea of what was going on. You know, I could see like neighboring booths just setting up their stuff and whatnot. It was a lot more different. I think it was a lot faster this time. We did it in a day. I want to say we did it in a day, but I can't prove that either. I think we did it in a day. We were a lot faster. We had a lot more people helping us. I was in charge of the hoodies, and that's pretty much where I stayed for the entire show. So I had this stupid wall. The bathroom wall was right in front of me the entire time, so I couldn't see much of the convention. I was constantly like egging people over. I was like, "Come over here! I need a picture of you. Come on, you look great. Let me get a quick picture." But I didn't really take pictures. I took a lot of videos. It was amazing. I couldn't believe the designs these people were coming up with. There were so many cool people. They had Star Wars stuff. We had, you know, Zero Dawn Horizon things. I saw Tony Stark with, you know, like his running outfit on. Just all the coolest stuff you could imagine, just everywhere. I got to walk around a bit again, and it was just super cool. The weather was amazing. It just made me feel good. My hotel was so sweet. I had this balcony view. I don't think I got any footage of it, but it was just so cool. Just being somewhere that was warm for once. My God, can it make a difference on your mood? I was just happy the entire time being out there. There was just so much going on, you know, all these cool costumes. Not to say that I was definitely working, and I was definitely, you know, there's still very long days and stuff like that, and you're there all day trying to sell, you know, for me it was hoodies. I met a lot of interesting people. I met some really nice people from Tijuana, and they were super cool. I ended up going to Disney Town, or Disney, it wasn't Disneyland, it was like Disney City or something like that. There weren't any rides or anything like that, but just like tons of toys and whatnot. There was like a Lego store. I ended up making a little Lego me, and it was like super cool. And I actually met up with one of my good friends while I was out there. She got stuck working at the mystery booth, but since this was going to be my last convention job, she had asked me if I wanted to hang out for a couple days and just experience the California life, which of course I said absolutely almost immediately. So after we wrapped up the convention, you know, we put everything away, everything goes in boxes, you tie it up and you ship it out to guess what, the next convention, which I was not a part of. They went to go do another show somewhere else. And I got to go home with my friend, and she let me stay on her couch in her apartment, which, holy shit, is is California rent expensive or what? Oh God, like let alone the food, you know. the rent was just, I'm not going to name numbers, but you know, nothing is free out there, and nothing is cheap out there, that is for sure. But you know, she actually works a bit in the film industry, so you know, she makes decent money. This is just something she does on the side because she's been doing this for years. And she's actually the one who got me involved in this in the first place, which was really cool. I don't see myself doing this very often. It's a lot of hard work, and you know, it pays decently enough, but you know, I really, I don't know how to say this, but I really missed you guys, you know. I really wanted to just get back and start filming again. That was really one thing that kept getting in the back of my head. So like every time I thought of that, I whipped out my camera and I shot a little bit, you know. But we'll get into that later. Anyway, so I'm still in California, everyone's gone, and I actually had a couple days free. And I started shooting, you know, all these wonderful places. Her and her girlfriend took me to all these crazy cool, you know, ramen shops, thrift stores. I got to go to the beach, I got to see Santa Monica, I got to see Venice. At the time it was O Venice, because I think like that Irish holiday had just passed. St. Patrick's Day. Oh god. I don't know, but when I got there it was O Venice, which was really cool. I just got to go around the city, which was just awesome in itself, you know. Again, palm trees. I've never seen a palm tree in real life. You know, I'm from Canada. The only thing I see is pine trees. So this was super cool, and I was loving every minute of it. So one of the days, her and a group of people actually took me up to this mountain, and we climbed this mountain, and it's like this nature trail or something like that. And we went all the way through all these details. We went through like thick bushes, we went through like dirt trails, like everything you can imagine. All of this led up to this really cool waterfall, and it was just like the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's like a bit of nature, and no one else was there. It was just our group. So I took off my shoes and socks, and we all just got our feet wet, and it was like the coolest thing ever. And I just had such a blast out there. And then of course we went back. That night I believe I went to a food truck, which was really neat, and I got a California burrito. I'm sure it's not authentic, guys, but you know, it was still delicious. I got to see all sorts of stuff. I actually got to go to a back alley comedy show. No kidding. Like, I remember we pulled up, and like, you know, there's like all these buildings on one side, you know, with all the shop titles and stuff like that. And she goes in an alley. I was like, what are you doing? She's like, come on, it's this way. So I went into this alleyway, and you know, in the back alley, there's like this door, and they just let you in. There's like a line of people, and like you just go in, and they have like this comedy show there. They had these 3 comedians. All of them were pretty good, and then they had like this weird little dating show thing where like they go through 3 guys' phones and stuff like that, and they try to find stuff to embarrass them with. Just really. It was just like something I'd never ever experienced before. It was absolutely surreal. A back alley comedy show. I never thought I would be able to say those words, but that was super cool. I'm trying to think of other things I saw, you know. I mean, I got the stereotypical, you know, gist of California. I hung out with gay people. They're really nice gay people. Unfortunately, her friends were also gay, but they were like the feminist kind, so they hated me just for being a man. It was really weird. I've never received that kind of hate before, but like I remember being just like, hey, how's it going? And just like that fucking girl just ignored me. It was just unwarranted, and you know, like, I don't know, it was weird, but I wouldn't chalk it up to all people like that. Obviously the person I got to stay with, she's gay, but like she was just super loving towards everyone. I mean, like everyone, just like the kindest soul I've ever met in my life. She's such an amazing person, and you know, she took me in. I got to sleep on her couch. Of course, they had a demon cat. That cat, like I constantly tried to pet that cat, and it would do nothing but attack my fingers and stuff like that. I loved it, but like you know, like, I forget the name of the cat actually. Please don't be mad at me. I'll call it Goose for the fact that it almost scratched my eye out. What else? So I got to meet gay people. I got to meet an Indian guy in tech, go figure, and I got to meet a Chad whose name was actually Chad. Very, very, very good stuff out there, you know. I got to go to Hollywood Boulevard where they have all the names and stuff like that. I didn't get too much footage out there because I didn't want to look like a tourist, and just everybody is just like grabbing you. They're trying to get you to buy their products and this and that, you know. Yo, you look like you know what you're talking about. You want to buy my mixtape? You know, like it was just non-stop. Where else? I got to go to that Griffith Tower, I believe it's called, with the telescope and stuff like that. I got to see the Hollywood sign, which was super cool. Everything was super cool out there. I just had a blast, you know. In the warm weather, above all other things, I cannot stress how happy that made me. I got to go to the beach, and I didn't go in the water. On the last day, I went in the water, but it was also super cold. What else did I do? I drank on the beach, you know, like a real bum. It was just, everything about that place is really cool. It's just a matter of money, because you really need a lot of money to survive out there. Oh man, how did I forget about this? So like I told you, my friend out there, she is a bit of a filmmaker. She is a filmmaker, and one of her friends was trying to film a teaser trailer or something, and I actually got to be a part of a film set. That was super cool. So they left me the responsibility of hanging up all this stuff. They didn't have a lot of stuff, so I had to like kind of space it out a bit, which kind of made it look ugly. We were trying to make a video game studio or something like that. It was part of the trailer or something like that. And I got to be the guy who does the with the black thing and they go action. That was me. That was just like super cool. And I got to see actual actors who are actually good at acting. You know, like I think I'm good at acting until you see other people who are actually able to act on demand. It was surreal. It was so cool. And like they had to rent out this place, and I was like, I don't know how much it was per hour, but they were paying per hour to be in this small little business room or something like that. I was just like, wow, everything does cost a ton of money, you know. But it was just, now I can say I've worked on a set. It's just the coolest thing ever, you know. That being said, I was starting to be there a little longer than I anticipated for. And the guy who had brought me out there was also going to buy my ticket to get me home. That was part of the arrangement of me going out there to help him with those two shows. And I texted him, I'm like, when I'm ready to go home, like, you know, when can you send me a ticket? Whenever's cheapest for you, blah, blah, blah. You know, trying to be polite. And about a day later, he gets back to me. He's like, well, you know, in 2 days, Star Wars Celebration is going to happen. It's going to be fun. It's going to be Star Wars, da-da-da. And I was just kind of like, again, I was thinking about you guys. I was just like, well, shit, you know, it's almost been 3 weeks now. But you know what, if this is what I have to do to get home, this is what I have to do to get home. And if anything else, that's more footage for you guys. So off again I go. I get on a plane to Anaheim to go back to Chicago. Was I in Anaheim? No, I was downtown LA. I take that back. I go back to LAX. I didn't get the picture this time, which I'm really disappointed for. Sorry, guys. But I went back to LAX and I got on a plane, headed back to Chicago. So I was now headed back to Chicago for my third and final convention. This one was Star Wars Celebration, which apparently is a very, very big thing and held very special in a lot of people's hearts. Normally I'd cue the Star Wars music, but those copyright rats will probably, you know, come copyright strike my thing like the vultures that they are. So I'm going to have to put some generic music in its place. Thanks, Disney! By now I was getting tired of being on airplanes, as you can imagine. I was slowly dying inside. But by the time I got there, same deal. I met up at the convention, nothing but tubs and grate to be put up, and we slowly put things, you know, we made that tower in about two days, and I think the day of, it didn't open until 12, so we got there like 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning? I don't remember. I think I got up at 7, and then I ended up going down there at 8. But we had some building to do, so we put together one of the booths, because he had a bunch of booths for this one. Star Wars Celebration is huge. And like, you know, they were going to announce Star Wars Episode 9 at this one. I was working on the inside of the booth this time, so I didn't get that many pictures. And by then I was starting to feel the fatigue of being at all these convention shows. You know, I hate to be the one to say it, but after you do a certain number of them, it kind of loses its magic. And it like pains me to say that, but you know, from a customer's perspective, I'm sure it's a lot of fun. You know, you're there to see all the sights, take pictures with other people. But someone like me, I was kind of like stuck to one thing, which is fine. That's why I was there in the first place. But you know, it kind of wears out the magic of, like, if you went to Disneyland every day, I'm sure you'd get tired of Disneyland. You know, it kind of takes away from it. But this was my last show, and I was going to put on my best, you know, for the final blowout. Anyway, so Star Wars, guess what? Tons of people dressed in Star Wars. I saw a numerous amount of Jedis, stormtroopers, everything in between. There were those bounty hunters, and of course, I had back row seats for the trailer teaser of Star Wars Episode 9. They also brought on all the celebrities from the movies. I saw Daisy Ridley, not up close. I didn't see these people up close, but there was a screen. Pretty much, there was my booth, and maybe like 40, 50 feet away is where the platform was for all these people. And there was like a couple booths in between that, so I couldn't really see them personally. But there was like a screen aimed at us, so like, you know, nobody was buying stuff at the time, so we all just kind of stared at the screen. There was Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, C-3PO guy, J.J. Abrams was there, you know, like your typical Star Wars Disney people. I was kind of stuck in the booth the entire time. I was pretty upset, you know, just like, shit, I want to see that so bad. You're not allowed to leave the booth, obviously. So, you know, I just saw it from afar, and, you know, it was fun, because, you know, they played the trailer, and everybody's, like, the whole thing, like, all you hear is mumbling, you know, it's just like, and then everybody goes, "Wow!" You know, like, I have no idea what they said, and there's, I didn't get to hear anything, yeah, I got to see it, but I didn't get to hear it. Later that day, I went on YouTube and I just watched the trailer, and, you know, I don't know how to feel about the latest Star Wars saga. I mean, I think Daisy Ridley's really cute. I think John Boyega, I've been watching John Boyega since Attack the Block. Like, I actually think he's a pretty good actor. Oscar Isaac is a fucking phenomenal actor. I saw him in that robot movie where he's a super scientist and he has this guy come to the island, and the robot like slowly seduces the guy. Like, Oscar Isaac's really good. I saw him in that, God, where's my head today? See, I'm still back, guys. Like, I'm still suffering from jet lag. God, because they're all really... Annihilation. He was in Annihilation. He was great in that movie. Every movie I see this guy in, he's great. They can do whatever they want. You know we're gonna watch it. You know we're gonna watch. It's Star Wars. As long as it carries those two words, Star and Wars, you know we're gonna go see this movie, baby. You know, what are you gonna do? Not watch Star Wars? And they announced the Mandalorian movie or TV show. I think it's a movie because Jon Favreau's directing it, and he's more of a movie director, as well as the return of Clone Wars. Now, I'm a huge Clone Wars fan. I've seen it all, and I am hoping that it stays true to the original, and that I don't know who's in charge of Star Wars, but I know that there's like a lady who's been really mucking up everything in Star Wars lately, who's in charge of Lucasfilm now. I forget her name. I also don't really care. I'm just hoping that, you know, George Lucas somehow gets a hold of Star Wars again, which is never going to happen. Disney owns it. It's over. It's over, guys. Speaking of George Lucas, I did run into a George Lucas cosplayer who is absolutely on point, and apparently people were calling him the creator, which is super cool. Other than that, you know, I got my lunch breaks every day, and I would go around and I just film stuff. Tons of cool cosplays, tons of cool, like, they had the life-size TIE fighters and X-Wings, they had these, like, Star Wars-themed cars. Everything was absolutely super amazing. And, you know, I took it all in. This was going to be my last show, so I just enjoyed myself. And, yeah, I caught a bit of a cold. And that day we had to pack everything up and, you know, saran wrap it so it doesn't fall apart in the truck. We got home. I got to the hotel around 3 o'clock in the morning, and my flight was at 10, which means I had to wake up around 7:30 to be there for 8. So I got, like, you know, 4.5, 5 hours of sleep. So this whole trip was really tiresome, and again, it's Chicago to Montreal, so you got 2 one-hour flights with like an hour in between. And I almost missed my flight actually because I hadn't reset my watch. So like I almost missed my flight. Thank God they called my name on the intercom, and I was like, oh shit! I just like pack everything up and I ran to my flight. And then of course I got on the airplane and headed back home. And that's about the sum of my journey out in the US of A. Overall, I had an amazing time. I got to be places that I've never been before. That is something, you know, I get to say I've done now. Because I've never been to Chicago before, and I never went to California. Now I finally got to see California. Overall, I had a really good time, and it was a lot of fun. Would I do it again? You know, maybe. I had a good time. I'd really like to focus on my YouTube now, you know. Like I keep saying throughout the video, like I really missed you guys, and I missed making videos. Not making them was really weird. I was just I always felt like I should be doing something, you know. I was just like always pulling out my camera, and as much shaky cam as you guys could handle, you know. I'm glad you made it to the end of the video. But other than that, I'm hoping that from now on, because I have Twitter and Instagram, I'll be able to stay in touch with you guys more. And we don't have to go through that dead silence of like, you know, an extra 2 weeks. You know, I was gone for a month. Ooh, you know, like when you think about it, I was gone for an entire month. And that's really, I mean, that was on me. I didn't want to make just like some stupid video on my cell phone and then just be like, hey guys, you know, I'll be back soon. Like, I don't know how I would have gotten in touch with you otherwise. So now we have it. Twitter, you guys can add me on tobromancer on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. I'll put links down below. Thank you so much for being patient with me, guys. As it were, like I'm gonna start doing my regular content. Akuma Shogun. Hopefully you won't have to wait a week. I'm gonna try to get this out, and I hope you didn't miss your convention over your Devil Buster. But like I said, it's done. I just have to finish editing this thing. Editing is like the worst, you guys. Editing is probably the thing that takes the longest. Anyway, this video is definitely run way longer than I had planned it to originally. I love you guys. I'm back, and hopefully you won't have to wait very long for your next video. As always, if you have any questions or comments, just put it down below in the comments section. If you want to know something I may have missed when I was out there, or something that I should have experienced or that I might have experienced while I was out there, just comment down below. If not, you know, what do I normally say? Oh man, it's been a month. I forget what I normally say. I'll see you on the next one.